the movie simply exists to force feed you nostalgia. Everything from the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men to Slimer, the library ghost, to Dickless, who's now the mayor of New York City for some reason. And don't worry, there's even more references that they cram down our throats throughout this entire film. Let me start off by saying that I enjoy the original 1984 Ghostbusters film. And as I've said in other Ghostbusters videos that I've made, and content that I've created that's focused on the franchise, I think the reason why the original Ghostbusters worked so well in the 80s was because it was doing something truly original for the time. You know, so many genre films, whether it be action, fantasy, sci-fi, it often featured the badass action hero, the star, fighting just all the bad guys, right? The Arnold Schwarzeneggers and the Sylvester Stallone types, doing what they do best, which is kill people and say funny one-liners.
Yeah. Stick around.
Not dismissing their films at all. I love a lot of those movies. They made some great fun movies during that time period. But, then a movie like Ghostbusters comes along and twists all of that on its head. Instead of the muscle-bound, badass super soldier assassins and cops, we have these schlubby, dorky, and very goofy scientists battling ghosts to various levels of success and sometimes failure. Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson, they were not action stars. They were smoking, joking, and eating Twinkies throughout that film. And people responded to it very well. Along with, this world of ghosts and gods, ancient gods, fantasy science and marshmallow monsters. But the franchise has never been able to move past that film, in my opinion. I've enjoyed cartoons like Real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters, but every film in this franchise since Ghostbusters 2 is the same fucking bullshit over and over and over again, and I'm done with it. Especially after just watching Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. But let me give you the premise of the movie before I even get more exasperated. The Spengler family, along with a bunch of other characters that get nothing to do, return to the New York City firehouse headquarters of the Ghostbusters. And when they discover a powerful artifact, an evil force is unleashed upon the city that can create a second ice age that will engulf the entire planet. Listen, you Ghostbusters fans need to stop, okay? I had my first bad theater experience in a very long time, and it's because of these overzealous fans who are dressing up as these bustas and want everyone to know at the theater, at the screening, that they love Ghostbusters and will be as obnoxious about it as possible. You, along with the minds behind this franchise for decades now at this point, are holding it back. You're holding the Ghostbusters back. You're not endearing or special every time you start standing up and clapping, which is what they did in my theater when Slimer, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, or a very tired and miserable-looking Bill Murray awkwardly waddled up for a bit. Just stop it, okay? You're ruining it for people who just wanted to see a movie on a weekday afternoon. Just chill out.
All right, everyone, chill.
That aside, this movie fucking sucks and just reaffirms that this should have been a one-film franchise with cartoon spin-offs. To be positive at the top, McKenna Grace as Phoebe Spengler continues to be the best new addition to this series in decades, the cinematic series, I should say. Not only does she obviously look like and act like Harold Ramis' character of Egon, of course, she's his granddaughter, in the series, but she strikes this balance of honoring what came before, but being truly new and refreshing. She's just a refreshing presence in the movie, providing a young adult perspective, to this world that feels fun and engaging, for us, for viewers. Additionally, pairing her with Dan Aykroyd's Ray, I think, is a great choice, as they're both, just so invested in this world of ghosts, and it's very wholesome to see Egon's best friend have such a connection with his granddaughter. That honestly should be the heart and soul of this movie and the film's central premise, in all honesty. But that's not what this is. That's not what this is at all. It occasionally is that, but most of the time it's not. This is just more nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia, with a meandering story that takes forever to get going. One of the film's biggest issues is that this cast is so goddamn big. And so many of them get nothing to do throughout the film. You have the Spenglers and Dan Aykroyd. You have Winston Zeddemores, Ernie Hudson's, team of scientists in Ghostbusters. All these tertiary characters, all these cameos, and Bill Murray, who yet again looks like he doesn't even want to be there. If it's not a Wes Anderson production, Murray could give a shit less nowadays. I mean, you could give a shit less for 25, 30 years at this point. You just have so many characters that show up for a bit and then are gone for just long stretches of the movie. Sometimes just there for a scene or two, or perhaps they're at one point integral to the story of the movie, but then are just treated as if they're afterthoughts, just going forward for the rest of the film. And including characters, played by Finn Wolfhard and Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani and many, many others. I like these people as actors. There's a lot of talented people in this movie, but why even have them in there if you're barely gonna do anything with them? It's just distracting. They set up subplots that go nowhere or just feel superfluous to the main story. Like, they had this whole thing with Paul Rudd feeling really awkward about being a dad now. And it's like, if you're not going to do anything with that, then why even bring it up? You're just padding out that first act so much. And it really affects the pacing to the point where the movie just feels boring a lot of the time, especially the first act. Plus, the humor is wildly inconsistent. And when a joke falls flat, boy, does it fall flat, and makes the movie feel even longer, even more gratuitous. But outside that, the movie simply exists to force feed you nostalgia. Everything from the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men to Slimer, the library ghost, to Dickless, who's now the mayor of New York City for some reason. And don't worry, there's even more references that they cram down our throats throughout this entire film. It all feels tired and lazy. Like all the previous sequels before it, it's too afraid to truly do anything new and stews in the past, pausing the film itself for those Ghostbusters fans to just shake a shiny thing in their face, grossly regurgitating another reference or line, creating an awkward moment for the audience to start laughing or for the fans to stand up and clap like demented seals, which they then did in my screening multiple fucking times. This movie, along with Afterlife, 2016, and Ghostbusters 2, serve as prime examples as why this cinematic franchise is devoid of creativity. They've never been able to do anything truly special outside of that first film, which is great, and those cartoons that I've seen. Because of a mixture of what I surmise is fear, lack of talent behind the scenes, and this incessant fan base that just wants to see the exact same things, the exact same ghosts, the exact same references, hear the exact same lines over and over and over again. It should have simply been a one-film franchise and leave it at that. But what about you guys? What about you guys out there? Did you like this movie? Did you hate it as much as I did? Are you somewhere in between? Does busted make you feel good? It doesn't make me feel good anymore. I'm done. I'm through with Ghostbusters. But what about you? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.